Today we are in my office filming a video. I know it's Halloween this week. It's Halloween in about 2 days, and you're not going to get a Halloween tutorial from me. I don't know how to do any of those things, and I also don't celebrate Halloween. This is just going to be another regular tutorial, or rather just like a challenge I wanted to do. But yeah, so welcome back to my channel. I'm starting off with a completely bare face today because today I wanted to try and do a full face of using MAC Cosmetics makeup. I somewhat feel like I wanted to do this for a couple of weeks now. I somewhat feel like people have sort of like put MAC to like the wayside, like they've fallen by the wayside a little bit in terms of, you know, popularity and sort of like relevance in terms of like new makeup innovations and launches and stuff. And you know, we have so many new brands that have popped up both internationally as well as, you know, new innovations from global brands locally. So we're seeing a lot of people loving these Instagram makeup brands like Fenty and Huda Beauty, and then we have Tarte, and we have Anastasia Beverly Hills, and we have other drugstore brands like Maybelline and NYX, you know, coming to the party and being super innovative and creating new stuff for people to try and use. And so there's a lot of things changing in the industry, a lot of new products being developed and stuff. And you know, we sometimes, you know, have had our brands that we went to right in the beginning, you know, 5-6 years ago, where it was just like MAC was the it brand. Like that's where you went, that's where you started, that's where you got like your first high-end foundation, that's where you got your first like eyeshadows or eyeshadow palettes, you got the MAC blush and raisin, like things like that, where you know, it's a classic, they're a cult classic brand. They're still a brand that you still go back to if you're looking to sort of just like reminisce, or just, you know, just feeling nostalgic and want to go back and experience their products once again. So I just thought I would do a video on a full face of MAC. Like, I know I hardly feature MAC on my channel apart from my all over face powder and my bronzer and a highlighter, and that's about it. But I do have a few things that I do want to try from MAC that I want to share with you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm gonna start off with my brows. I'm using the MAC Deep Dark Brunette Fluid Line Brow Gel Cream, and I've used this for ages now. I've had the same one for like 2 years and it's still alive and kicking. I'm gonna take a normal angled brush and go ahead and do my brows. So I feel like a lot of us, our relationship with MAC sort of like goes in and out over the years as we sort of want to try new things, and we you know, get a bit older and our tastes may change. You know, MAC is a brand for artistry. I mean, it pretty much is an all-rounder. It does everything, right? If you are someone who likes light coverage and just dewy skin, and they have those products for you. If you are someone who likes full coverage, they have those products for you. If you are someone who likes to experiment with paints and sparkle and glitter, they have that for you as well. So it's really a brand for artistry, and that's one thing I always respect about MAC, is that they're pretty much the OGs in terms of makeup artistry, in my opinion. I mean, with the new Studio Fix foundations, they have up to 65 shades now. I think 65, I'm not 100% sure. If you want to talk about inclusivity, we're talking about a brand that has 65 shades in just the Studio Fix foundation. And they have different undertones and textures and, you know, all of these other things that, you know, a lot of people basically come for other brands for, you know, and then we sort of forget that, like, listen, there has been this OG that has been doing this for quite a while. They're an oldie but a goodie, and you will go back to them when you sort of just want to feel nostalgic and just go back to, you know, just find out once again what you fell in love with and what you fell in love with first about makeup. And I feel like the brand, and as you use the products, you will find that out again. So that's also like my sentiment for just doing a look like this. I know it sounds deeper than it actually is. I'm just trying to have fun, honestly. I was either gonna do this or you guys choose my my products. And it's so funny because as I was like, I need to do that video, I see Jackie Aina put it out. And I honestly thought she had already done it. But anyway, it's no biggie. We'll try that out in the next couple of weeks. I also had such a fail last week. I wanted to vlog my week because I had a pretty hectic week last week in terms of industry events and just being out and about and stuff. But I didn't. Because I haven't vlogged in a while, I kept on forgetting my vlogging camera. It's sitting right here. My vlogging camera is sitting right here. And I kept on forgetting it. Every time I would be in my car and like I'm basically halfway to my destination, I'm like, I forgot my camera. And then one of the days I tried to vlog on my phone, but I really don't like that. I really felt like it's not fair, you know, like for the quality to be like that. I know some of you guys don't care, but I really care about it. I was like, okay, don't worry. Tomorrow I'm gonna bring my vlogging camera out. And where did it stay? Right here. Has not moved. And it's because I'm just so forgetful and I forgot. So that's what I use on my brows on a daily basis, is the MAC Dip Brow. I mean, it doesn't really change, and I really like to use a gel product for my brows. It's a mixture, a nice combination of like a pencil and a cream, of a powder, because a pencil I find is just a bit too waxy and it produces oil as the day goes on and my eyebrows look very shiny. And then a shadow obviously is or powder is a little bit too light, and it doesn't give me the look that I want, and it takes too long for me because I'm trying to apply more and more product and it's just not getting out. So I feel like the gel creams are really nice, and I like it when it's a certain consistency. I have actually I allow mine to sit open for a couple of hours, like maybe 4 or 5 hours during the day. One time though, because it's going to change the texture of the gel to be a little less smooth. I find that when you first crack it open, it's very difficult to use for me. I find it too smooth and I make too many mistakes. So I like it to be a little bit more hard not hard's the wrong word, a little bit more thick as opposed to too creamy. And I just let it sit out for like 5 hours when I get it, and then I'm pretty much cool to use it. We're gonna go on to foundation. Where are my foundations? Okay, so these are the foundations. This is the foundation I'm using today. It is the MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation. It is a cult classic. It is a cult favorite. It's in probably every makeup artist's kit. And once again, this foundation has about 65 shades with it now. These are the old bottles. I know the packaging has probably changed, and it probably is quite it looks similar to the concealers. And this is the new concealer from MAC as well, the Studio Fix concealer. When I used to use MAC, I was always in C50, but then after not having used it for a while, and I picked up NC50 again a few months ago, like not a few months ago actually, probably end of last year. I realized that this is not my shade. It's a bit too dark. Maybe my skin has changed as I've grown older. I definitely exfoliate more. I use SPF, so I'm probably not as dark as I used to be when I used to use MAC NC50. So I also picked up NC45 just to play around with them and mix them together and create a nice shade. You don't have to do this. If you have your shade, you have your shade. I'm just someone who likes options. I'm taking this new brush I used last week. It's the MAC 196 brush. And thank you guys for being so nice to me about that video. Here it is. It's not focusing. There we go. Thank you guys for being understanding in my video last week. I was so ill, and what actually happened later on that day is the event that I went to, I pretty much almost fainted. That's how bad it was. And the weather was so ridiculous. It was literally 40 degrees that day for no damn reason. So I really felt ill that day, so I had to leave that place and come back home immediately. Even driving back home was a bit of an issue for me. I almost wanted to just park on the side of the road and just take a nap. That's how like exhausted I was. I don't even understand why. If it was the heat, it was just a bad time. It wasn't cute. Yeah, I'm using this foundation, and the MAC foundations do oxidize, which is also why I was like, I cannot use NC50 as it is, because once I apply it and it settles and it oxidizes, it's just too dark. It's better for me to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I've also found myself doing a couple of things lately, which is going back and watching YouTubers I used to watch back in the day as well. So like Samantha Ravindal, to name a few, or to name one actually. And also discovering a few other Canadian bloggers that I actually quite like. I've also found myself just going back and just feeling nostalgic in terms of the YouTube space, and just wanting to see what I fell in love with before, and you know, fall back in love with it again and feel inspired once again. So the coverage of this foundation is definitely buildable, but it being summertime, this is where I'm pretty much going to leave it. The foundation brush I'm using as well helps to amplify that coverage as well. So there isn't a necessity to really go back and double up that layer, because the brush that I'm using is very densely packed and it allows for a full coverage finish to occur quite naturally. I'm taking this concealer in NC44, which I'm gonna say one more time, it's very light. I haven't gone out to pick out a darker one. I might just do that though. Well, my products are MAC, my brushes aren't really MAC. I only have like a few MAC brushes, not a lot at all. But I'm using my Sigma 3D blender. So I'm a bit nervous about this. I have the MAC Prep and Prime transparent finishing powder, which I don't believe is ideal for baking. I mean, it's a very stark white powder. So it's like there's cocaine lines on my table. So it's a very stark white powder, which I'm always wary about when it comes to baking. But I'm gonna do that today. I remember using this probably with my very first baking tutorial. I think the video was called the tea on baking, and I can't remember if it gave me flashback. I'm pretty sure it does though. But I don't believe MAC has like a banana powder or anything like that, which I feel like they should. Maybe the reason why people have sort of fell off with MAC is because they're the last to do these trends. They're the last to do things like baking powders, and okay, they were the first to have their highlighters. I stand. But you know, MAC doesn't even have a cream contour kit. They don't have a cream contour kit. They took so long to come out with liquid lipsticks when the liquid lipsticks came out. So I just feel like, I don't know what it is that like they don't want to, you know, be the leaders in terms of, you know, these trends and stuff. I get that maybe their train of thought might be, listen, we are a cult classic, we don't follow trends, we set them. So maybe until we come up with something that we are obsessed with, that's what we'll do. And maybe they did those liquid lipsticks just to answer their consumers' calls for a liquid lipstick. I don't know what the thinking was. I'm not a MAC marketing strategist. I don't want to keep this on for too long because I don't trust it. And I'm going to take some MAC Fix Plus Gold Light and spritz my face. Put so much on. So my all over face powder from MAC is MIA. So I'm taking this one from Bobbi Brown. And I'm just gonna apply this wherever I didn't bake. Ideally, after baking, I should have done this instead of spritzing my face, but that powder really scares me. That translucent powder from MAC. I guess I could do what I did at Bobbi Brown and just get a super dark powder to contour with, but I just have this one from Bobbi, so I'm just gonna contour with this one as I usually do. Back to MAC. I'm gonna go ahead and warm up my face with some MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Natural in Sun Power. And I really love this to give me the final kick of warmth and bronzing, because I'm not really a blush kind of gal. I like to look warm, but not necessarily like peach or pink or red. I like to look orange. So that's why I like to use bronzers, or even an orange blush if I do have one. But for the most part, I really love this powder. It's absolutely stunning. Okay, so now we're going to move on to eyes. So I've got two eyeshadow palettes with me. The one I really want to use today is this one, which is quite new. It's the MAC Risk Taker palette. And the palette itself is a bit confusing to me because it's quite cool toned, apart from this like stark pink over here, or this vibrant pink. So I'm like, okay, fine. They want me to probably use pink as the hero of the look, but I'm struggling with the transition shade in this palette that is matte. I'm seeing that there is this color over here, but it's a little bit too cool to put into my crease. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crack open my real oldie but goodie, and it's this MAC 15 eyeshadow palette, and it's the Warm Neutrals palette, which came out ages ago. I've had it for many years, because it definitely has the tones that I need to work in my crease and build up the color. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this shade over here, and that is called, I believe, Brulee. Oh no, that's called Saddle. So it's like nice warm brown that I'm gonna apply in my crease and just above as well. Now, the pink one here is this one that I want to use. I just did a pink look on my channel. If it feels repetitive, I'm sorry, but I really wanted to use this palette. I'm going to take the Sigma E32 brush. It's the E32 Exact blending brush, and I'm going to take that pink shade, and I might create a halo eye. I'm actually going to line my waterline. So I'm going to go back in the Saddle and just put color on my lower lash line. I'm going to go back in with that E32 brush. I don't know what to do in the center because I did leave some space open for a halo. I'm gonna take the pink, which is this one over here, and see what happens. Just to add a bit of the dimension of color and a gradient effect. Move on to mascara. I'm using my MAC Up For Everything lash, which is this one over here. me just go in with another coat of this mascara. I really like it on my top lashes, to be quite honest with you. It's really pretty. Wow, I really like that. As I wait for my lashes to dry, I'm gonna just quickly move on to highlighter. I have the MAC Hyper Real Glow, and I have some gorgeous shades here. This also came out earlier this year, I believe. And I'm gonna use the one on the far right. There are no names on this. And I'm gonna use this for highlights. Oh, look at that. How stunning. How stunning. It's quite impactful, I won't lie. It's quite loud. For summer, I've been enjoying putting some highlighter on my chin. It adds that dewy look. In this palette, I want to do a little something in my tear duct. So I'm taking the shade called, I don't know what it is. And I'm just adding some sparkle. This is like literal glitter, I think. And I'm adding it to my inner corner. Okay, I'm gonna spritz my face one last time before we move on to lips. And I've been using the Fix Plus in Gold Light. I wish the names were actually written onto the palette as opposed to this piece of transparent paper that can get lost and thrown away. I'm going to be using a weird color today. I'm using my MAC Chestnut pencil and I'm lining my lips. I'm overlining my lips slightly today. I'm going to be using the shade in the Retro Matte Liquid Lipstick called Dash a Spice, which is this one over here. It's a muddy nude, which I think is really cool. Okay, make you look hungry if you're not careful. So lip liner is definitely crucial with this lipstick. And that's it. This is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this, what I call it, a tutorial or just a throwback at one of the car classic brands I think we all fell in love with at one point in our lives. Let me know what you think about the lips. I've literally only used this lipstick once before. I bought it when I really was into this like sort of like dead girl sort of like look in makeup, and I know it was trending at a point. It just makes my teeth look really white. I was thinking if I should go over it with a gloss, but I was like, oh, it's just gonna look quite generic and normal, so I thought I would just leave it matte and let me know what you guys think about it. It's quite different, but I think it's cool, it's still cool. So yeah, if you guys liked this video, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already joined this little family, and I'll be sure to see you next time. Bye.